was playing all the,
And what about Japan?
yeah, like how do you say purpura, like the shirt of this guy, like small purple.
Yeah.
But she wants to have a palette of always reddish kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Rodrigo began to design the film, and we talk about what we need, and we shot in 16 millimeters Morocco, then we shot in 35 millimeters Mexico, and then we shot in anamorphic lens, the Japan thing. So it was a huge, different of texture. So we were even stretching even more the diversity of the elements, and panicking and just crossing fingers what will happen at the end. But I will have to say that Rodrigo, which is more like a painter, he really helped. For example, Rodrigo has this genius idea to have anamorphic lens in Japan, because that anamorphic lens gives you very few depth of field. So basically isolate the character, and everything else is completely out of focus. So that enhances the isolation of this deaf Japanese girl. So those kind of things really, I think, Rodrigo, and paint emotionally in the disco scene with the strobos, coldness, and the color in the beginning, all the sheer. So I think Rodrigo is a painter, and Brigitte really helped him to sculpt all that. But obviously, it's a collaborative thing. But you have to design and think about that everything.
Was it hard to get that performance from that young woman? This is a story of a young Japanese adolescent who's coming of age sexually, and she's deaf.
I would have to say that the first time in my life that I have dealt with non-actors. So 90% of the people without the stars that everybody knows are non-actors, and I work with non-actors.
It's a non-actor, somebody that just you go to the shopping mart.
All the Moroccan people that you see beside Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett, all the people that you see, all the Kate's family, all what's surrounded are people from very humble South Sahara people that has never seen a camera. They don't have plumbing. They don't have light, and all these people did that job. But for me, directing non-actors in a language that I didn't understand in Arab and in Berber, and then mix that with Kate and Brad, it was madness. And in the Japanese section, all the people that surround her, it was real deaf Japanese teenagers. So it was difficult, but I have to say that Rinko Kikuchi or Adriana Barraza, she was in character since the first day I met her. I thought that she was deaf, and she was not deaf, but she has a discipline and a spirit that is. I mean, there was some scenes that were really difficult for her, like the policeman and the encounter and that we shot like 3 days continually because it was very hard. But she made my life easy. She's a fantastic actress.
All right, now let me just go, and we start about friendship. Did you see this? What did you think of this movie when the first time you saw it?
Babel?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, before it was released, before before he'd edited it, when you saw a rough cut.
It was great because by then we know each other, and Alejandro came to the editing room of Pan's Labyrinth, and he helped me remove 10 minutes out, and I saw it, and I did something that I'm going to confess for the first time, because I saw it and I said, it's a little long, it's about 12 minutes long. The next time I would see it, he had taken a chunk, but I actually said to him something that I'm going to confess now. I said to him, like 2 days later, he said, so what do you think? Because we always argue. He said, no, it's not that long, maybe this, maybe that. And then I talked to him the other day, and I say, a friend of mine saw it in a screening, and he said, who was it? I said, a friend of mine. He said it was a little long. Really? And then he took out the minutes. And then when we met again, it was already 10 minutes shorter.
No friend at all, you.
It was me, but he wouldn't listen anymore.
Mexican tricks.
Mexican tricks, man.
Did you see it? I mean,
this is the thing. They were editing both their movies in Los Angeles. I was in London. Yeah. So everything was on the telephone more than anything else.
So he'd call up, give me a conversation on the telephone.
We go from family life to everything.
Yeah, and our conversations, they have a narrative structure of an Alejandro film. Begins with the end, and then goes a little bit with the beginning, and then you come back to the middle and stuff like that. But with Babel, because I knew the script so well, then I talked with Alejandro while he was shooting, and then in post-production, he was editing, as I was editing my film, and he was telling me how, first, he was so excited because he said, I'm going to edit this like in 3 weeks. I already edited the first 40 minutes, and it's going so easy. Next call was, oh my God, I didn't consider that this is not 3 stories, it's 4 stories, and it's more difficult to juggle 4 balls than 3 balls. And then the 3 weeks expanded like in 4 months. Yeah.
No, it was 6 months. But a piece like this, in the editing room with Stephen Morione, I think you have to discover, you bring to the editing room stones that are completely virgin, like pure.
Unpolished.
And then you have to and find the elephant that you thought that stone happened, and then you suddenly say, there's no elephant here. And then, okay, the next, okay, there's a little piece, there's the tail, okay, put the tail. And it's panic. And it was 6 months, and it was difficult to find what links this, to make the film a film.
And for me, what is amazing when I saw the film was that throughout, I kept talking with Alejandro about concerns that I have with the script of plausibility in many cases.
Plausibility.
Yes.
Because you got 4 stories and how they're connected.
And
That's
not
the
only
idea.
that, certain situations inside the story that if they will be plausible, if I would believe the whole thing. And that's the first thing that when I saw the film is that I knew the story so well, I knew the script so well, and I was so connected to the screen. The whole thing kept on happening, on happening. I never questioned any single bit. I was just engaged with the whole thing. I found myself in a very emotional state towards the end of the film, and it's as if he is what he does with his stories. He has a story, but then the reality that he explores while he's directing the film, I think, is what really makes the film. And it was a treat when I saw it for the first time.
When I saw it the first time, what I felt, which is that Alejandro has this sort of Old Testament kind of biblical, apocalyptic view of humanity, but very generous. It's like, and when I see his films, but especially this, when I saw it, it ended. And I said to him, I'm going to go and apologize to everyone for anything I have not even done. Because I feel so, it was so harrowing. I said, I'm going to go call my mother, call my wife and say,
I'm sorry.
But I tell you, the same thing is when I saw Pan's Labyrinth. In Pan's Labyrinth, I had concerns with the script, but when I saw the film I saw is the story that you told me when we have verbally when we have dinner before you even start writing the script. It was as if
when you saw the film,
in
there was
a way,
a main line between what he said and what you saw.
It was just exactly what. One night he went to my place in London. We have dinner, and he told me this story he wanted to do.
Chicken.
And I have other anecdotes about that dinner, so be careful.
Now's the time to tell.
And the things when I saw the film, it was that it was exactly what he described in that dinner table. It was not so much the script. The script was great. It was fantastic. But what it was great, it was that emotionally was that thing that he described in the dinner table. And again, I saw it as if I never seen it before. As if I didn't know anything about that story. And again, that ending that I find it so complex, in which the liberation by death of one character is the grief of the character that stays behind alive. Right. It's something that it's so impossible, almost impossible to describe in words in a page. It had to do with the combination of the images and the performances that it makes everything come together, and it has to do with the thematic faith that Guillermo has in his material. I think that something that they have in common is that they have a big disdain for safety nets.
Yeah.
They use. What he's talking about, that he's shooting in Japan, and he doesn't even remember what was that he was shooting in Morocco 6 months before, and he just has a faith that what he's doing is the right thing, but there's no safety net. There's he has as many possibilities of things go wrong as going right.
It's a happy accident, that happen, that you are finding an improvising thing and you just capturing the thing. And at the end you find that when I first saw the first cut of Pan's Labyrinth, I was in an office, he was behind me, like breathing here, and I was like, don't think wrong. but the guy was just like expecting, and I was just, really, at the end, I didn't know what to say. I was so shocked and so moved, and so blown away by. But the ending I found like nothing compared to 21 Grams or Amor Espero that he always complained. This was like really devastating in a good way, but devastating.
But it isn't. The funny thing is, there's a phrase that I love. Kierkegaard said, it said, "The tyrant's reign ends when he dies, and the martyr's reign begins when he dies." And that was for me the ending of
Yeah, but the beauty of that was that screen in Cannes. When the film opened in Cannes, they had 22 minutes of ovation, of applause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the happiest film moment I ever had. To see Guillermo,
applause for him.
For him.
We were together in his screening
in the
camp.
screening, and he was standing there. The first 3 minutes, he enjoyed the applause. By minute 4, he started kind of crying and thanking
By
people.
minute 9,
He was dancing.
Yeah, dancing and stripping. He didn't know what else to do, so he started stripping there in front of everybody.
And then when he began to strip, and the people stopped applauding.
and barfing. Like, oh my God, look at the texture.
Yeah.
No, but you know, I think the way seeing that book that he see, I took my kid to his house. He has this library, like 2 floors, only books of all the literature of the fantasy and horror and comics and old ones and paintings, like basically a museum. And my kid, which is 9-year-old, he wants to now, don't talk to me anymore. He wants to be his son. I mean, he was like, and he has all these sad things. But it's like
He wants you to be like him.
Yeah, no, he spoiled my relation with my kid. He wants to be his father. But it's a fantastic. And then when you see all these drawings and things, the way he shot, every single shot in his films is like a mechanism of a clock. Everything works. Like the camera here, cut to, then cut. And I'm so impressed because, I try to catch whatever and Rodrigo with the handheld, and then, we put together this. This guy has a mind that is completely predetermined by his genius of knowing exactly when he will cut, when the pan will come, when the crane will. And it's like a mechanism that I enjoy. It's like a dance. It's like a Hitchcock.
That's the
It's so
big difference
beautiful.
between
That's the difference.
You've seen
Like
your
the
movie
colors?
before.
Yeah.
The colors, I will never listen to someone coming in with an idea for a color or a texture. I'm like a dictator. I say, these are the textures, these are the shapes, these are the colors, for these reasons. And on the other hand, what I do, which is a miracle, for example, I have never learned to use a light meter, and nor do I want to. I know the lenses, but I see the light, and I tell Navarro, I ask Navarro, my DP, I say, is this area black? Is this the black? And he says, yes, this is the black. And I kind of go like this, like a kid. I go, okay, that's the black. But I never comment on the light. I tell Navarro, is this soft light or is this? But the color, the texture. So each of us has an area with the collaborators, I think, of trust. And
Yeah,
this
but
is
that very
people that work
specific
with
thing,
us.
the difference between the two of you is that you have the movie in your head and you feel that your responsibility is to translate what is already there.
There, yeah.
Alejandro is finding the movie as he
Yes,
goes.
yes.
He's like Livingstone.
And you're halfway.
And you're halfway.
I'm a little bit halfway.
Now you find the difference.
I do.
And you'll find out that the real handsome one is not him.
It's halfway.
Okay, let's see.
And the real thin one is not you.
This is like a virtual reality.
He's been nominated, as I think Lemrith is nominated as the Mexican
Selection for the Oscars, yeah.
for the Oscars. Now, are all of you ever competitive in terms of awards or in terms of anything? Competitive rather than supportive?
No.
I don't think so, no.
There's no ego here other than...
We were helping each other to reach Cannes, for example.
I give an example.
Oh, yeah.
He gave up his nomination in Mexico as best film in
Seeking it.
Mexico.
He didn't seek it,
He
yeah.
didn't seek for it. Just handed it to pretty much opening the space for Pan's
You
Labyrinth.
did that because...
Because we talked and we said,
that
well,
makes
I
sense.
think what makes sense, and I can put that film as a foreign language film.
Right.
But we talk about together and as a friendship, say who really can be best, or who can really performs better.
Which film would be benefit for that nomination?
And then clearly this was what...
The three of us said, let's send that.
But you can put yours up for...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But also, you don't know, you never know. I mean, the only thing we said is the Academy in Mexico then in turn can do whatever they want, or it's a democratic vote of hundreds of votes. But we said, it's almost like, look, if you're in the way, we're gonna split the votes. It happened to us actually in a strange way in the past, where we split the votes between Y Tu Mamá También and Devil's Backbone, and they ended up sending a third film. And we talked about it, and I said, if you go in, it's not a shoo-in, but it will be harder.
You know what I think is that I think we never made the decision because the price of the award. I think it's more that the film it has a smaller distribution can be seen by more people. If he get a nomination, it will be an opportunity not to win or not. It will expand the possibilities that people see his film that it needed more than Me or Children of Men.
And the best award for us is like what is happening tonight, because it's a Gotham. It's a word in the three of us.
Yes.
So we're going to just hang out
and get drunk
together, get drunk, go up there,
and finally he will confess.
No, but the other thing that is nice is I think the sign of a true friendship is when you forgive success. That's
you forget or forgive.
You forgive success.
Yes.
You are able to. When he won at Cannes, I felt as happy and this is not just publicly saying. I mean, this is like really felt happy being in their first exhibition of the movies. Of each of us.
He wrote me a beautiful letter, a love letter in the newspapers in Mexico after, Babel got the best director in Cannes, and the next day he published a letter of how, you know what I mean? And I think I think we are not competing in that sense. I think it's very childish. I think the films are very, different, and it's kind of a little game, but at the end you can't compete in art.
When you switch envy into admiration, it's an amazing liberation.
It's easier.
It's easier, and it's so constructive in many ways. And also it has to do with our personalities. Personally, I've never been competitive because I always lose. Says
the guy that grows over $800 million.
Yeah, exactly. But don't worry, do you?
No. I personally think I'm thin. There you go.
And I'm an ugly guy. Right?
Yeah. No, but at the same time, it's very
I'm
clear.
I'm ugly, so what?
Alejandro is our award kind of friend.
Yeah.
He's
your award kind of friend.
Yeah.
Which award? My wife gave me this
if we had to bet,
I
think Alfonso and I would secretly put our bets on it. We may bolster and everything, but if we were wanting to earn some money, or bets would be on it. Yeah. That's okay. I said that we did our first films. Curiously enough, our first films won the same prize in Cannes, Kronos and Amores Perros. Yeah. And I remember Alejandro called me after when Amores Perros was choosing the festival, and he said, "Which festival do you think is best?" And I said, "The one where you win. It doesn't matter which one it is."
Thank you all.
No.
It's a pleasure to have you here. It's everything that I'd hoped it would be.
Thank you very much for you.
But you have to say who is the most handsome one.
Okay, it's mine. It's him. It's him.
No. Thank you very much, and congratulations. I know you leave this table to go receive an award. It really is everything that I'd hoped it would be, and your work is extraordinary, and I hope we can do this again. We'll just pick up and see what happens. Thank you.
So I'll be thin by then.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Join us online at charlierose.com.